Welcome back. My name is Candace Sanderson, and thank you for joining me on another episode of New Beginnings. This new series started with something old, a 2016 quote from a messenger. Several years ago, I started a Word document with some of my favorite communications from the messengers. This makes life much easier for me when I want to post on my social media. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. I just open my Word document and pull out a passage at random. Recently, when I posted that 2016 passage from my guides, the messengers immediately flooded my 5D inbox with more information. I described that process in a previous episode, and today we will delve into those new messages. The post that jump-started these newer communications was about the heart of Gaia. Let me read it. The heart of Gaia hears the call from the Creator. She is awakening and preparing to blow away the clouds of forgetfulness. She brings back to her shores the great ones who walked the earth millennia ago. Posting this 2016 message opened the doors to spirit just a little wider, and they allowed more information to flow. You see, 5D messages are timeless, so it does not matter that the message is 9 years old. These words of wisdom continue to light the way. As I made the post in real time, the messenger picked up the threads of this conversation that they had begun years before, as if no time had passed. This is the timelessness of spirit, because time is a construct only for this 3D earth life that we have. The messenger responded by saying, "What is life but a cycle of birth and rebirth? What is, once was, and shall later be." Hearing those words primes the pump and paves the way for more communication. I had what I call a download, which is a knowing that stretches beyond words. I realized the heart of Gaia is what many refer to as intelligent design. This is what pulls the levers for the birth and rebirth. It is the energy behind the movement. This fits hand in glove with the T formula that the messengers have taught me. TEA, thoughts, energy, action. Thoughts, our intentions, prayers, desires, manifest into action based on the energy that fuels those initial thoughts. TEA, that energy between thoughts and action is the bridge, the connective tissue. This energy is what pulls those levers and pushes those buttons to guide the action. If we fuel our thoughts with doubt, for example, we push the doubt button or pull that's not possible lever. In doing so, we have just derailed the initial intention. The end result, we manifest what we fuel, doubt, and inability to do what we initially intended. The messengers continue the conversation by emphasizing that the time is nigh for the great ones to return. And I, for one, welcome this wisdom with open arms. There is a lot of chaos and discord in this world. Day-to-day life has been disrupted. We do not function as well as we used to. So yes, we do need some wisdom, some intelligent guidance. We need hope. The morning after posting this 2016 message, while on a morning walk, more information came in. I grabbed my phone and dictated the words coming through. Now, I want you to notice how the conversation begins as if the message from the previous day, which had begun in 2016, had never ended. This is 5D timelessness in action, where minutes, hours, days, and even years may pass, yet the messages continue uninterrupted by time, that inconvenience of calendar or clock time. Let's return to the message. Is there life after death? The question should be, is there life before death? For within those sacred spaces between lives lies the secret. Now, to explain this last sentence could take a few more episodes, but we're not going to go there now. Let me finish. Walk through life with a smile on your face and love within your heart. This is true guidance, where wisdom is birthed within the balance. Now, this is a common theme with many of my messengers and their communications. They encourage us to seek a balance. This balance theme is front and center in the next few sentences. How much is on your plate? Your plate has offerings for sustenance, yet too much disturbs your equilibrium. Learn to find that balance that offers you the best of both worlds, as humans like to say. Now, as I heard these words, an image of a restaurant buffet line enters my mind. I remember years ago, I would frequent those all-you-can-eat buffet restaurants. I never went home feeling full. I always felt overfilled, stuffed. I did not balance between what my eyes could see and what my stomach could comfortably hold. A couple of days later, after my morning coffee, I felt compelled to set up an altar with specific crystals and candles and incense. Now, let me say, I am not an altar person, so I knew this was from a messenger. I smiled as I went through my home and allowed guidance to pick what I needed. I pulled two tall pillar candles from the shelf, one black and one white. The black one would take away any negative or lower energies and transmute those frequencies into something positive. The white candle would radiate light and positivity throughout this sacred space. You might recall from an earlier episode that I had set up a similar altar a couple weeks before. It too had a black candle and a white candle and incense. This time, however, I added specific crystals. But it's also time for a true confession. As I built this altar, I did not remember the one from a few weeks before. It was only after reading my journal notes that I realized this altar was not new. It was a continuation of the previous one. The altar I had taken down a couple of days after I had built it. Here's a question. Why did I not remember this? Is it a matter of loss of memory? Well, it certainly could be, but that is not the case. When I receive messages, my awareness splits so that I can experience, observe, and document all at the same time. When I am the scribe, either voice recording or writing what occurs in real time, it frees me from trying to remember things as they happen. As the experiencer, I remember what occurs long enough to document, then I let it go. If I do not release those details in real time, I would remain stuck in the 3D, engaging my brain as a psychologist to analyze the events. With my scribe so active, there is no need to remember because I can read what I've written or listen to what I've recorded. The question becomes, will I? Or maybe when will I? So totally unaware that I had built and then disassembled this altar a few weeks before, this should have been a deja vu moment, but it wasn't because I didn't remember it. But yet again, here I was, beginning again, new beginnings indeed. After pulling out the candles and incense again, the messenger guided me to choose a third candle. This was a poured candle in a beautiful frosted lime green open jar. Now, I had bought this container candle over a year before, but I've never lit it. But I looked at it, and just below the surface, I saw the tops of crystals that are embedded in the wax. So as the candle liquefies, those crystals become exposed. They come to the light. What a nice little surprise. This jar candle has a relatively large, flat wooden wick that looks like a wide popsicle stick. When you light it, it crackles and sounds like flames in a fireplace or in a campfire. I thought, this is perfect. It brings natural sounds of the element of fire along with the green color. Although I did not connect the dots until later, that green is the color of the heart chakra, the heart of Gaia message that started this entire process. Only after I lit this green candle and burned it for a while did I discover another surprise. There were also tiny blossoms in the wax, another hidden gift, that flower of energy from my very first message when I began channeling in 2013. While building the second version of this altar, I went to my jewelry box and picked a pie stone made of green adventurin. Now, pie stones are flat discs with holes in the center. It look like a squished donut or a tire. They are used in some native ceremonies, and that hole in the center represents passage through an interdimensional portal. That's perfect. Now, I have several pie stones, but this green one jumped out at me. Just like the candle, it was only after the fact that I understood why the messenger chose that particular stone. Of course, once again, it was that green connection to the heart chakra. From that message, the heart of Gaia. The altar was not complete until this messenger picked a variety of crystals, including a hand-carved light yellow stone that I think is onyx. It is carved in the shape of a buffalo. Aha, it's pale yellow color. I smiled. White buffalo, one of my most memorable guides. I realized he was behind this. And as I walked this piece back to the altar, I stopped and picked up yet another memento from White Buffalo. It is metal. It's about the size of a quarter. On one side is a raised figure of a buffalo standing with a mountain range in the background. It is a talisman, a trinket, a charm that you carry in your pocket for good luck. I bought it years ago and had completely forgotten about it. Let me share a few aha moments. A few days later, when I disassembled the altar, I picked up this buffalo coin to return it to its rightful place in my home. I smiled when I turned it over because I noticed something was printed on the other side. It said, quote, "Balance brings abundance and blessings." What a surprise, and a most perfect message about balance. If you're watching this video on YouTube, I'll post a picture of this for you to see. Here's another pleasant surprise I discovered after the fact. I knew the Heart of Gaia quote was from 2016, June 14th to be exact. But who was the messenger? I have more than 100 messengers, and they often go unnamed. I've never been hung up on who they are because what they share is so much more important than who they are. I pulled out my channeling document and searched for June 14th, 2016. I was shocked, but not surprised, to learn these words on the heart of Gaia were from, of course, White Buffalo. And in case I missed it, he had guided me to the pale yellow onyx carved in his shape and the coin-like trinket of a buffalo for the altar. If you've read my books, you'll know of the other 3D gifts from White Buffalo. Those are becoming his signature to let me know he's around. White Buffalo also has a significant connection to my youngest granddaughter, Shalane, who turned 9 on May 12th. She is part of this new generation that will step up, if they choose to, and lead us into a new way of life, following a path that honors all life, plants, animals, humans, all humans. This is a new generation that recognizes balance as a way of life that opens paths for others to follow, if they so choose. So let's return to the altar that I've just completed. I sit ready, willing, and able to receive more messages. With a smile on my face, I know that I've reconnected with the spirit that is one of those great ones who has walked this earth for millennia. The spirit has returned to help lead our planet. I now know that this is the spirit of White Buffalo. The message continues. For it is about choice, is it not? Does a shepherd force the flock to go in a specific direction? The act of forcing results in chaos, and the flock splits in multiple directions. A good shepherd leads the way with honor, calm, and light. Lighting the way shows options and opportunities. There must be a buy-in from those on this path, but the buy-in is for the greater good. It will not be for individual achievement or power. It will be led by the heart to welcome the best opportunities for enlightenment. Now, I wonder when I hear this how we will find these great ones. And the answer arrives immediately, even before I finish the question in my mind. There's one sentence: let your heart lead the way. This is something the messengers have said too many times to count. Sounds great, but how does it work? Then something flashed into my mind. It is an easy example of letting your heart lead the way. Recently, someone approached one of my friends about doing some window or roof work on her house. After the man left, my friend had this nagging feeling she could not release. Something was off. Although when the man left, she was willing to accept his too good to be true offer, that uncomfortable feeling persisted. She decided to follow her intuition and not hire this man. As soon as she made that decision, she told me she felt this huge weight lift from her shoulders. She followed her heart. When you recognize a nudge from spirit, take a deep breath. Take a reading of yourself. Just like an X-ray, CT, or MRI scan, look at your body, scan your body. Overall, is there something that does not feel right? Not only can you do this to help locate physical areas that need attention, that need healing, it also helps you tune into your intuitive nature, to tap into your heart for guidance. There is a reason why something feels off. That feeling is a heads up to pay attention. Once you pay attention, you then have the chance to make changes. There are daily situations that we often find in ourselves. We not be able to discern precisely what it is, but we certainly experience that relief when we release it. In this last message, I love the advice to learn to trust our hearts, our intuitive nature. The message continues. Let me read this. For within these sacred spaces of intuition, balance comes. Like a river that rises to the shore, it does not flood, but it stays within its channel, providing a means of transportation, a means for aquatic life, a source of water for dry land. It is in balance with the rest of nature. Use your heart to find this balance. Learn to listen to your heart when it calls ever so gently to you. Know there is wisdom within this divine space, and wisdom is for the greater good. You, each and every human, has the ability to find balance and guidance from within. For you are in this world, but not of it. You are but a tiny spark of the divine, lighting your way back home. There are more humans whose divine sparks are becoming brighter, who are awakening to the truth that they have walked these earthly shores before, and now they return. They look up. They hear a call. Is it the heart of Gaia? Is it the call from the Creator? Maybe, just maybe, they are the ones they have been waiting for. Just maybe they are the great ones who walked this earth millennia ago. Listen with your heart. Trust in your connection to spirit. Seek a balance and allow that balance to unfold. Be ye still like the waters of a river and allow the undercurrent of life to guide you to find that balance and wisdom that surrounds you. Wow, just maybe we are the great ones. My granddaughter, your neighbor, your son or daughter. With silence, we begin to hear the whispers of guidance, inviting us inward. Let go of the chaos that disrupts that flow of information from your angels and guides. Seek a new beginning. Find a balance. Let your heart lead the way. Go about life with a smile on your face, raising your vibrations to answer the call of guidance. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Remember the importance of being kind to others. That's how we make it through life, one nanosecond at a time. Until next time, goodbye.